Hello and welcome to a humble Highland home. Thank you for joining me here today as we take a wee wander up to the kitchen garden to see the changes that we've been working on. This is the second part of our kitchen garden plan, and I like to break tasks into smaller pieces to make them more manageable and so that we can enjoy the process of the change and take the time to celebrate each step of the way and each learning experience. I'm having to be very inventive with my growing spaces this year. So there'll be lots of companion planting, but this is going to allow space for the current changes that we're making in the top kitchen garden. Along with the annual edibles that I'm planting, it's really good to be getting some perennials planted because perennials just continue to give and give. My plan for this structure for this year is to plant some beans around it, specifically for the nitrogen that goes back into the soil. Beans are excellent for nitrogen. And we're constantly looking at ways to improve our soil and our soil structure, because that's where it all starts from. If you follow me over there on Instagram, you'll have seen recently that my grandchildren have come home from their travels and they've been making very good use of the swing while they've been here. They've had lots of adventures in the burn and they've even found fairies in the forest garden. We planted the first of our apple trees in autumn of last year, which is showing lots of signs of life. And this is the first steps towards us growing our food forest. When I've described our ground as being rocky, these are the size of the rocks that we've taken out of the growing areas as I gradually amend the soil. They will all get used though as we move on to do the gabion baskets or rebuild the walls or just line the edges of the pathways. The three main areas that we focused upon last year was to see if we could actually grow in this rocky ground. We wanted to build the greenhouse, and also I wanted to develop a waste management area which included the composting. I learnt a huge amount with last year's seasonal growing, which I hope to change a few things this year, and hopefully we'll just build upon that year on year. The greenhouse is doing incredibly well. I see this as being the wee hub of the garden. This is where everything gets started. So we have a system developing. These were the seeds that I planted in the last video that I made. They're all pollinator friendly, so hopefully encourage the bees into the garden. And to plant something that's aesthetically pleasing as well as being productive. This is a catch crop growing area, so we've got radish and various salads. Perfect to follow on from the overwintered salad leaves. This is the waste management area where I store lots of wood chip, leaves, manure, rotting logs, all to be returned back to the earth and to provide lots of organic matter that will feed the soil, our plants, our trees, and attract lots of microbes and worms back into the ground. So the second part of our kitchen garden plan has been focused on building the polytunnel. This really has been a dream come true for me to be able to watch this start to take shape. It's been a long time in the planning. I used some discarded plastic to make a mini polytunnel, which I've been using over winter, which worked really well, as you can see from the salad leaves. These have all been overwintered. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity to be able to amend the soil and add lots of organic matter. like I originally did in the greenhouse when we were building that last year. And then I can use the no-dig approach and gradually add layers year after year. As well as the polytunnel, I wanted to start off more perennials in the garden, which this area is also going to house the green cone food digester. This will turn any cooked food scraps into slow releasing nutrients for the ground and the plants surrounding it. This green cone came from my previous garden and it's given me around 15 years good service so far. Unfortunately, the basket fixing sheared whilst it was being removed, but we'll have a go at fixing it. It's perfect to be placed next to really hungry plants like rhubarb, and later I will plant some courgettes in here, which are also very heavy feeders. These blackcurrant bushes were actually taken as cuttings about 3 years ago. So it's nice now that they've got a permanent home where they can take root and grow. All of the plants that I've planted here have taken incredibly well, and I see that as a good indicator of healthy soil conditions. I've just started working on this side of the pathway, as this will form another part of the perennial food growing area, using the permaculture food forest principles. I have 3 blueberry bushes just waiting to be planted, grow some roots, and I think this area will be perfect for them, and the bees have already made themselves at home on them. We are making good progress. However, we are taking the time to enjoy each stage. I'm loving it to see it all come together, but all in good time. This area is going to be phase 3 of our plan. It will be the main annual planting area with a few herbs and perennial additions. But at the moment, it looks like an abandoned area of messy chaos. But that is part of the process of change. Sometimes you have to pull things apart to allow the time, the space, and the focus for the new to unfold. Change can be messy, chaotic, and uncomfortable. But the one thing that we can control is our mindset and attitude to it. Change is one of the most certain things in life. The natural seasons are an example. Nature shows us this in every season. One phrase that I've used on many occasions is that when everything changes, change everything. And by taking a few small decisions in the right direction can really help with a feeling of empowerment and self-imposed control. Little did I know that there had been a book written about it by Neil Walsh, who describes about 9 changes that can change everything. But the main area that I always take it back to is the mindset. And for me, that means planning. I'm a natural planner, and this just works for me, hence the 3-phase kitchen garden development plan. The garden will continue to evolve and change, but that's okay, because it will be the choice and the positivity of my mindset towards it that will make sure that the changes will always be for the better. Enjoy the moment and slowly and mindfully work towards what's next. Thank you for joining me as we've gone for a wee wander around the garden to see what we've been up to. Please give me a wee thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video and consider subscribing. But for now, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.